California, stay away from here. Stay away from here now. Don't come in here. Whatever you hear, stay away. John Doe has the upper hand.
What's in the box? Greetings, everyone. Steve, Imperial of Kindness. How you doing today? Hopefully, weaving's been happy. Okay, what I have for you today is another edition of What's in the Box. Don't look in the box, man. What's in the box? But as always, before I get to in this case, a package. Let me talk to you. This is gonna be brief because I made one like 2 days ago, and I haven't made that much. So I don't have that much to show. I don't have a lot to say today. But, like I said last time, welcome to the channel. Past couple of weeks I've had a lot of new subscribers. Thank you. My channel, shameless plug. Stitch Zawbar in the card's description below. Let's see. I'll say this. I say this in a lot of these videos. Basically what this is when I get order stuff and it shows up, most often Imperial cord related, sometimes not. Like the other day I talked about my new phone. I just open it on camera and show you what I've ordered, show you what I've gotten. I usually show some of the new things that I've made. For those, who you can follow my Instagram account. It's down below in the description. You're more than welcome to do that. And then, if there's anything that's happened since the last time I made a video like this, or in the past week or so, some topic has come up. I've seen somebody ask a question or something, and, I know the answer, or I have an opinion, not necessarily that I know and I'm correct, but, I may have an opinion. I might mention it here. But I don't really have that much to say today, because, like I said, I made one of these, a day or two ago, and I got it up on YouTube. But I got a package there. I got a package yesterday. I went ahead and opened it up. It was small. It wasn't anything big. But I'll show what I got there. And that kind of leads or segues into something, a project I want to make. But with that said, let's see. I'll show you what I've made. I don't know if I showed this or not. I've got some keychains I've made. I don't know if I've showed this one or not. It's basically, here, let's zoom in. I always want to help you be able to see this. I don't know if I showed this one in the last video or not. I think I did, but I'm not sure. But it's a black D-ring. What is this? A 16 millimeter, basically a 5/8 inch equivalent, from side to side. Black metal D-ring. Not the silicone variety, which I've showed before. Those would be 20 millimeters bigger. But, what is this? Light khaki, and I did that stitching in jade green. And I was kind of trying to match this bead. Now, it's I want to say it's a resin bead. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, resin. Right? But it's supposed to look like jade. Now, it's not real jade, but, that was my intent. To, have this match the bead. I know that brown and that khaki is not the perfect match, but that's what I was going with. There's that. Okay, let's see. I don't know if I've showed this on camera or not, but I got two. One I made this morning, and another one I made like a day or two ago. But the one I made this morning I'm going to show first, because the other one kind of segues into the project I'm talking about. But I did this one this morning. It's got a white brass rope thimble with these little decorative loops. And I'll go ahead and tell you, these decorative loops are a 3 millimeter hole. And for those of us who know, 550 paracord or type 3 paracord is 4 millimeter. So it can be a little tricky trying to get it through there. But it can be done. No problem. But I did it. It's a vortex weave. I say it's vortex weave. It's a slightly modified vortex weave. If you know how to do the vortex and you've watched the tutorials, you'll do, a cobra knot, either left-handed or right-handed, just that half of it, and then you do another one, just like it. Instead of doing right and then left, you do right, or left, right. or correct, I should say. Well, on mine, I'm modified. All I do is one left-handed knot. And then I go to the next chord and do a left-handed knot. And the next chord, left-handed knot. You see what I'm saying? I don't do the doubling up. That's just the way I do it. So technically it would be a modified vortex. But for, you know, whatever it looks like. But the colors on this are the jade green, goldenrod, and that red-looking color is it's Viva la Vino. Right? And the bead on it is what do they label it as? A Chinese palace lion head or a lion dog, right? I don't know how well you can see that. It's white brass also, and you know, and this is obviously just straight black, right? Okay, now, I made this one, like I said, I did this one this morning. That was for a customer. Let me put these two back over here with the rest of the customer stuff. I got to package it up, maybe get it mailed out today. Hopefully I can. Now, this one right here, I showed these beads, and give me just a second. 2 seconds. Let me grab something, and I guess I do have something I'm going to talk about. Give me just a second. Okay. I had to go over and get something. I'm going to mention it. I figured I'd show it on camera for those. Who, you know, may not know what I'm talking about. I'll give you a visual aid. Okay. Now, I made this, you know, white brass rope thimble, same thing as the other one. I did a 4-strand round braid, and this is emerald green and passion pink. Now that passion pink, I mentioned it before. I opened it up. I got it from Paracord AU. It's the closest thing I could find to a magenta, right? It's similar to American-made or American-bought Fuchsia. Now that looks red on camera, but it's not. It's more of a pink. Now this passion pink, it's got more of a purple look to it when you compare them side to side, right? Now, like I do, I often compare colors on camera for you, the viewer, because like I say, the colors like that. Perfect example. You can't see on my end what I'm actually looking at, but I can see what you're seeing on camera, and that's not a true representation of the color. Now, why? Camera quality and lighting, right? But I'm going to show you that in comparison to that, in comparison to rose pink. See, now that doesn't look like what it really looks like here. Maybe if I move the light out a little bit. See, that still looks red. That looks more true to what it actually is. But you can see all three of them under the same camera and the same lighting. Like I say, you go to this Paracord suppliers websites, and they're going to have a picture of the cord so you can see the color. And the unfortunate thing about this is those pictures are not always a true representation of what the color is going to look like when you get it in your hand. Like I say, camera quality, camera angle, lighting. Those are the three biggest factors, right? But I'll show you similar colors compared to one another under the same lighting using the same camera, in hopes that you as a viewer maybe will have one of these colors and you will go, huh, I see, that one's lighter or that one's darker, or he's describing it as it's more purple and this one's more pink. Or do you see what I'm saying? That way, if you're considering on getting one of these colors or whatever, you can see them. That's what it is. It's all about colors. Colors, colors, colors. You got to learn to work with colors. Not only is Paracord about the mechanics, over, under, pull, tight, it's about colors. Color theory. I'd recommend getting you a Color for Dummies book or something of that nature. It's color theory. You can look up videos on YouTube to talk about color theory. But there you go. That's what all that is. Is there any other pink type colors that I have? on hand over here? No, that's probably about it. Burgundy, a lot of us have Burgundy. That's Burgundy. So you can see it's obviously, way darker than any of those. Now, that Viva la Vino that was in that other bracelet, here it is, compared to the Burgundy. That's the Viva la Vino, and that's the Burgundy. Now, for most of us have like Imperial red. That's this. So you can see. And I'll be honest with you, this Viva la Vino is supposed to wine. Vino, that's wine. For those who don't know, that means wine. But what it actually looks like, and I say this as an honest observation, not as a downgrade to the color itself. It simply looks like Burgundy that has sat out in the sun for a while and faded. But that's what it looks like. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just stating it as an observational fact. Right? But that's the Imperial red. So you get you a little comparison there. Okay, now let's get rid of all that, because I'm sure that's the part nobody really cares about. That's the nerd in me wanting to talk about colors. Okay, now this right here. I'll show you this. Oh, and this bead. Right? It's a dragon bead. And I've got one. I thought I had one. Let me get it. I got one over here in my case. Yeah, I do. Where's it at? What do I do with it? Uh-oh. We got an escaped dragon on the loose. Oh, here it is right here. Which I guess I could use this one because here, let me get the other one too. Just so I can show you what I'm talking about. It'll make sense. You'll see why I want to show you this. Okay, I'm going to zoom this camera in. Hopefully I can get this in focus and you'll be able to see what I'm trying to explain. Okay, like I said, there's that dragon bead. And it's got, I'll show you how the nomenclature, how it's set up. You see how it's got these two little nubs on the bite, and each one of them have got two holes in it, right? Now you can see on here, these two black strands that act as the core strand that goes down through there, they're going through there, and then I just got a diamond knot on the end to kind of secure it, right? Okay. Now the thing, when I bought this, it was labeled, and it says these holes are 3 millimeters, right? Now, for those of us who know, just like these, the holes through those little decorative loops, those are also 3 millimeters. For those of us who work with beads, you know that a 3 millimeter hole, it will accommodate a piece of 550 paracord. Type 3, 550, 4 millimeters, right? You can get it through there. You got to work it, but it can go through there, right? Now, with that said, because of the way these holes are set up, you've got 2 here and then 2 here. So depending on if you're coming this way or this way, it doesn't matter. You've got this space in between here. So once you get it through the first hole, you've only got that much room to try to work to force it through that other hole. Not the easiest thing, right? So there's already something in the way. Something in the way, for those of you who may know the song. But to be honest, I don't think those holes are actually 3 millimeters. I think they're a little bit smaller. Let's do this. I never did do this. I've been meaning to do this, and it slips my mind. Let's do it right now. I'm thinking about we'll do it on camera. Take out my handy-dandy Chinese digital caliper. I got it set on millimeters. Now you probably can't. Oh, yeah, you can. You can see that. Yeah, that's right at 2.96. 3. So I guess it is 3 millimeters. It just seemed like it was awfully small. Yeah, about 3 millimeters. Yeah. Because I struggled. Let me tell you, I struggled getting them 2 pieces through there. And I'll say this. There are some cords, I'm not going to say where I got it from, who manufactures it, anything like that. Black is one of the examples. Black is an example. I normally order black from one place, right? But sometimes I order it from another place. Okay, when I get those 2 blacks, they're both 100% nylon, both the outer sheath and the inner core strands, right? It's all nylon. But when I get them, one of those black cords is it just seems like cheaper quality cord, I'll be honest with you. And it's not coming from like Chinese Amazon paracord. It's coming from a paracord supply place that many of us know of. Except I'm not going to mention any names. But that cord, it just seems like cheap quality. And it seems to be, instead of being round, it seems like it's flattened. Right? And it's overall, it doesn't seem as if it's actually 4 millimeters. Or maybe it is 4 millimeters. But this other black that I ordered from somewhere else, better quality, I'll go ahead and say that. But it seems, and it's not flat. Now I get it. If you order it, it comes on a spool. When they put it on that spool, it has a tendency to flatten it out a little bit, right? But this cord that I get from this place is flat. And I'm like, why is it like that? It's only the black. It's not any of the other stuff that I've ordered on a spool, but it's that black is. I've had other people mention this. But this other black cord I ordered from a different place, when I get it, it's not flat. It comes on a spool also. But the quality of the cord seems better. It seems softer and suppler. You know, suppler. Yeah, I'm not saying that right. So all my grammar Nazis, go easy on me. Or my pronunciation Nazis, go easy on me. But my point is this. They're both nylon. But this one over here that seems like it's better quality cord, it seems as if it's thicker than 4 millimeters. Because they're both labeled as 4 millimeters. And they both can't be 4 millimeters. Does that make sense? Either one's less than 4 millimeters or this one's greater than 4 millimeters, right? But that thicker, apparently thicker cord, I tried to get it to go through that hole, and I couldn't. So I went and got some of that black cord that seems to be thinner. And I struggled, but I got it through there. And I'm going to tell you what I ended up having to do. I tried all the little tricks, poking it through there, you know, feeding like one of the inner strand cords. You got your cord. You got your cord and take one of them individual strands and thread it through a needle, and you can run it through. I showed this, I think, right here. Let's just do this. Since I got this here, I'll do this. I'm not doing it with this because I'll be here all day trying it. Just give me a regular bead. I can do it with a regular bead. Where's my needle? I think I showed this. I did this in the last video. Maybe you didn't see it. Maybe you've never seen this. Like I say, watch my videos. I get long-winded to talk, but I try to teach people stuff, something you ain't never seen. You take a piece of you gut the cord, if you don't know what I'm talking about. For those who may not know, you cut your cord. You usually need to do it from both ends. Do I have a piece over here that's already cut on both ends? Yeah. You cut your cord. That one's not cut either. It's cut now, my gosh. But you cut both ends of your cord, and you can reach up here and grab the white inner strands. You can either pull a bunch of them out so they'll separate, and you can just grab one of them and pull it out. Obviously, not necessarily going to do this on a, something you're going to use, right? Now, you can gut the cord, take out a couple of these, and that'll make the cord smaller, and it'll make it easier to go through one of these holes. That's a way of doing it, right? But this is not going to be the cord you're going to try to thread through the thing. This is simply a supply to get that out of. And what you'll do is you'll take this, take you a regular sewing needle. Did I pull one out? Yeah, I thought I did. I was going to say I thought I pulled one out. Regular sewing needle. Take your cord. Feed it through that needle. Right? Pull it through. You don't have to find the halfway point or nothing. Right? Okay, then take your bead. Now, this cord is going to go through this bead no problem. I'm doing this just to show you the technique, not to actually, right? And you're going to feed that needle through that hole. Right? You're going to pull it through. Then you're going to take your cord that you want to go through the hole, and you got to have it burnt on the end, melted. That way when you do this, it'll stay in there. And you push it through. Alright? When you get here, you pull one side through and you leave just that one strand going through there. Right? Now you take this and you go back to your bead. Now we started from this side and went through the bead. We went through this cord, and now we're going to go back through the bead this way. Right? We went through this way, and now we're going to go back this way. And then when you get it through, take your needle off. This is where you take your needle off so you don't accidentally jam that into your hand. Now I'm going to go ahead and take it off, put it back in this little cheap case I've got all these needles in. Get it out of the way. And what you do is you take these two ends, right? And you can pull them. When you get it up here to where the hole is, that's, like I said, it's going to go through this no problem. But when you get it up here, don't sit it up here like this and try to pull it, obviously. Line the cord up with the hole itself. And you can use this to pull it through. That's one way of doing it. Another way, as you can get it up here and it may get caught, you can take a knotter's tool or whatever and just kind of dig it down in there. Dig it down in there. And you push it. Depending on how small a hole is, you're going to have to put more or less effort on it. You know, but you can get it in there. Makes sense? Now, there you go. There's a couple of ways to do it. There's other ways to do it, but you know, I just figured I'd make that quick, right? Okay, so with all that said, I'm up here trying to get this thick piece of 4mm cord through these 3mm holes, and I could not get it to go through there. I couldn't. It just would not go. No matter what I tried, I couldn't get it to go through there. So what I ended up having to do, I had to go get destructive on it. Rotary tool with a bit on the end. When I say a bit, it's not like a drill bit. It's not meant to drill into anything, but it's got like, it's coated in diamonds, diamond dust. And what this is meant, it's a reaming bit, meaning like on these semi-precious or precious gemstone beads that have like a 1mm hole in them for making stretchy beaded bracelets. Do I have any of these things? I've got beads. Beaded bracelet. Attempted to be made in my signature colors you always see me talk about, olive drab, maroon, and gold. Now, that's not a perfect match, but that's what that was supposed to be. It's just a stretchy bracelet. it's got a cord running through there that's like stretchy. It just goes over your wrist, right? Okay, well, there's some instances, and the hole in these beads is 1 millimeter normally. You can get quote unquote large hole beads, and they're 2 millimeter. But there are some instances where you need to make the hole bigger, and they have reaming tools, bead reaming tools, or whatever. But I've got a rotary tool, and it's got one of these bits, and that's what this bit can be used for. I don't know how well you can see it, but there's a hole right there in that bead. Maybe you can see it better on the other side. But there's a hole right there. And you want to make that hole slightly bigger. Well, what you can do is you can take this bead, and they tell you to do this underwater because the friction created from doing it is going to heat this thing up and potentially crack this gemstone. Whether it's a real gemstone, semi-precious or precious, or simply made out of glass, you can do this, and it works, but they tell you to do it and hold it underwater. Now, obviously, you're not going to stick your tool, but you can stick the bit down, and that'll keep it cool so it doesn't crack your bead. But you can take it, and you can stick it in that hole and turn it on and hold it, and it'll widen that hole out a little bit, right? That's the principle of that, how that works. A rotary tool. A Dremel, this case, what is this? Hyper Tough Walmart brand, right? They do the same thing. But I thought, maybe I can use that on these holes, which is what I did. So I'm over here doing this. I stick it down in them holes, and I'm like, and I ream them all out, and I look at it, and I do it again. I kept doing it, and they got a little bit bigger, but I still struggled trying to get that piece through there, but I got it through there. Okay, now, with all that said, that was the struggle of that. But that thing turned out good. It looks really good. It does. A lot of people compliment on that, and not so much the colors. They didn't mention the colors. They just mentioned the bead. Nice bead. Like, yeah, it is rather nice. But my hope, my intent is this. Let me show you. Let's see. I want to put this, we see, and here's the thing too. A lot of these beads, you see some beads that are made, it's almost as if they're made specifically for paracord because they have large holes and the way the holes are orientated. See, the holes in this are orientated this way. Some beads, they'll be orientated that way, right? Okay, now with that said, that works great. If you get it through the holes, it works great to put on a keychain. Now, I see a lot of these paracord bracelets, nothing wrong with them. They look great. But you'll see, here, I got one on my wrist. You'll see that bead in the way them holes, and they'll have that bead up here like this. Orientated running that way. Now, to me, that just doesn't seem right. Now, I know that's the way the beads are made, and that's the way most people do it, and there's nothing wrong with it. But me personally, I would rather have, especially this bead, orientated like this. Now, I know it's not like sitting even and all that, but I would rather have it sitting on the bracelet like this. It looks better. It looks more aesthetically pleasing to the eye. It looks more symmetrical that way, right? Put it there, completely opposite of the buckle, all right? Now, with that in mind, that's what I want to do with one of these. I don't do a lot of shackle work, right? Because I've said it in the past, and I'll say it again. Shackles are not very practical to wear. Why? Try putting one of them things on with one hand. Thread it, lining all them holes up, pushing that screw and getting it to line up through all them holes, and then to thread it with one hand. It's not the easiest thing to do. So, putting it on and taking it off, is not the easiest thing. Now, don't get me wrong. Those bracelets look awesome. Works of art. But to me, that's more of a display model than it is an actual everyday carry, wear type item. You know? Now, I can see, like, you want to wear a nice bead or a nice bracelet, you're going to go out to dinner or something, you know, you're going to go, and you want to wear a nice one, hey, get your other half or struggle with it and get it on there and then, you know, wear it. But it's not like an everyday thing because, you know, what if you're in a situation where you got to take it on and off throughout the day? Having one of them shackles is not the easiest thing to deal with. Hence, they're not very practical to wear. So I don't do a lot of them. But I got some stuff in yesterday. And I'll show you. First off, I got some of these. I've got some spent pew-pews. That's what we're going to call these. Most everybody knows what these are. These are 40s. We'll just leave it at that because we wouldn't want anything to get flagged or whatever. But these spent pew-pews, right? I've got some around here. They're not 40s. At least I don't think they are. Most of them are 45 and 9s, right? But they're tarnished and they're old and all that kind of stuff. So I figured I'd just order some that would have to. Now I can tell that these were actually used. They've got the dent in the back. You can see it, the dimple. And, you know, they got some scratches and a little bit of tarnish, which I'm not no problem with that. Right, but I ordered some of those. But I also ordered these. And I got a couple of these. These little Celtic style shackles. Right? Now, I'll go ahead and tell you. It looks really decorative, and you see the pictures on the various websites. These things are actually a little bit smaller than, you know, your average shackle. I'll show you. I've got some of these. Hang on. I've got shackles. Like I said, I don't use them very often. Where are they at? There's a bow shackle. Here, let's see. I'll get the silver ones. Maybe they'll be seen on camera a little bit better. Here's a black one I've got on this bracelet. This old cheap bead. Nothing fancy. Held in the center by diamond knots. Whipping. Where the cord wraps around itself. And, you know, just a hitch. That's all that is. You know. But imagine trying to thread. So what it is, for those who don't know, the way this one is anyway, it's got threads. This side of the shackle, this is a bow or a bow shackle. Because it's rounded. Here, let's show you. See how this one's rounded and this one's U-shackle, U-shackle, bow shackle, bow, B-O-W, however you want to say that, right? But the way all of these are made is this side's got threads inside the shackle piece. And then there's threads on the end of this. So you got to put it in the right way. It won't go in this way. You got to put it in this way. But you got to line this hole up with the holes in the whatever, however you've done the bracelet, right? You're trying to do all this with one hand. Line all them holes up, and then you got to fit this through there and get it all through there. And then, once you get it lined up, you got to screw it in there. But you're trying to do this on your wrist, and you've only got one hand to do it. Now, granted, you can put it up against your chest and all that kind of stuff, but it's not the easiest thing to do, right? So, hence why I don't make a lot of them. But I don't know how big these things are. On this bow shackle from the widest point. About an inch. We'll just say an inch. But the inside diameter, about 3/4 of an inch, right? I don't know how they measure these things. I don't use them enough. I've never learned. I know how they measure buckles, right? Now these, let's see. That's about the same size. Yeah, same size. Now the U shackle obviously is not as wide, but you see how big it is, right? Your standard, it wasn't labeled as small, it wasn't labeled as large, just a U shackle, right? Now you see how much room you have here. And the back side of this one's got an extra large hole so it'll accommodate all them cords you're going to run through it. Now, see what I'm saying? It's smaller. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I was just surprised. I said, that thing's kind of small. But no worries, no worries. But where you're going to run your cords through, obviously is smaller. And most of these ones with this adjuster piece, there's 3 holes right there. You see what I'm saying? That way you don't have to be so exacting when sizing one of these. You got 3, whatever. And this is where your cords will attach. So it goes around, and then the cord's attached to the actual shackle piece, right? Okay. Now this one, it's got 3 holes. And they're good size holes. But one of them is going to be used for the cord. So that cuts out, that negates that one. So you've only got 2. And then this space where these cords are going to go through is smaller. Overall, it's just a smaller shackle, which, nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just stating an observational fact. Right? I don't mean that as a negative. But what my intent, now that I've talked about all this, let's put all this back together so we don't lose anything. See, it's not hard to do when you got 2 hands. Imagine only having 1 hand and trying to line all that up. Yeah, that's not the easiest thing. Okay, we'll set these out of the way. But I got a couple of these. Now, my goal is this. I want to make a bracelet with this bead orientated like I showed you. But I want to put the shackle, I want to put it on one of these. Okay? So, I got to figure out how to do that. So, if you're watching this and you got some suggestions, please share some links down below. I don't care whose video it is. Even if it's not a video, because I looked, I don't see any videos. At least I did a very quick initial search on YouTube to see if I could see if anybody had used one of these to make a bracelet. And a quick first glance, I didn't find anything. But I'm going to go and I'm going to look around, see what I can come up with, do some digging, and see if I can't come up with some sort of weave where I can do this. Okay? Now, remember, it's not that big double wide hole like on them other ones. It's, I don't know, how big is that? Yeah, you can get one piece of 550 through there, no problem. Can you get 2 through there? I highly doubt you're going to get 2 through there. Yeah, I don't think you're going to be able to do it. Even any kind of tip or trick you think you can do, I don't think it's going to work on that. Right? And then this side right here, I was messing with it earlier. You can get it through there once. And get it through there twice. You might be able to get it through there a 3rd time. Most likely you can. Yeah, I can get it through there. Yeah. See, I got it through there 3 times. Right? It's through there 3 times on that side. Well, you ain't getting 3 of them through there. Now, there's all kind of ways you can do something. You can do it. I tell you, I put a 6-strand core on a shackle before. Somebody was like, what? I'm like, yeah. Don't ask me to reproduce it because I got pictures saved somewhere of how I did that. And it was one of those shackles that had that double wide hole. So, I did it. like I said, I don't work with shackles very much, so, you know, some of you out there who work with shackles and do all these kind of things, you probably got a better idea of a way to do it. But I'll be honest with you, I don't. I have specialized in bracelets made on buckles, not shackles. But that's what I want to do. I want to make a bracelet with this and this. And that's my personal challenge for me for this weekend. I'm going to figure out how to do this. And this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I'm going to do this. I'm going to show you. I've already got this going on. This is 95. And what I've done is I've ran it through these two holes, wrapped it back around, and ran it back through these other two holes. All right? And I most likely tie some sort of knot right here where my fingers are pinching it. And this little bit of space above those red cords, between those cords and this thing, and the bead itself, you see what I'm saying? And that will allow me somehow, I don't know, I'm just thinking, brainstorming, if you will, right? But that's where that's as far as I got into this project. I made that bracelet, or that keychain this morning, and then when I got done, I had some things I had to take care of, non-paracord related. And I took care of that, and I come back in here, and that's as far as I've got with this thinking and experimenting, and I hadn't looked a bunch of stuff up yet, so I don't know. We're gonna figure this out though. Hopefully. Okay, let's see. Let's put all this back where it goes. Give me a second to put all this stuff back in its proper place so nothing gets lost. Get this out of the way. Give me that shackle. Put this back where it goes. That way we don't lose anything. Give me this. Give me. Oh gosh. Let's see. That goes there. That goes there. That goes there. That goes there. This bead goes. Wait, I put those beads on those shackles in the wrong compartment. Okay, all this back up. Get all this out of the way. Get my scissors out of the way. Get my ruler out of the way. Get this out of the way. Get this out of the way. Get that out of the way. Okay, now, get the light out of the way. With all that said, there you go. Yeah, I've been talking for a while. It never fails. I can talk. But you know, like I say, if you watch these things, maybe I'll point something out you never thought of. Maybe it'll give you an idea on something you'd like to do. You know, you never know. How do we learn? Most often from each other. The good book says iron sharpens iron. Meaning one person will learn from another. We make each other better when we share information and ideas. Right? Because I may look at something from a perspective you never thought of, and you may see it from a different perspective that I never thought of, and we can come up. We inspire, motivate each other. Okay, now with that said, let's see what's in this. I really don't know. I know what I've ordered, but I wasn't expecting anything to show up today. I come out here on the tracking site, and it says patent. And I was like, oh, okay. Now this was the United States Postal Service tracking site. I got this thing wrapped. Now, I've got a couple of things coming, but I figured they'd be here next week or the week after. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's all that is, then. It wasn't very much. What these are magnetic clasps. Let's see. And they come in a 10-piece lot, meaning you order them and you get 10 of them. And these are 6 millimeter and these are 4 millimeter. Now I want to say I ordered them all, maybe not. I ordered these in I'm going to pop one of these open just to see it. Yeah. That's matte black. Now, I know you can't see this on camera. Hang on just a second. I'll get one. Maybe you can see the difference. Alright, first off, that's a glossy or a shiny black one. This is a matte black, which I've been looking for. Yeah. That's pretty strong magnet. It's just as strong as this one. It's as strong as that one on my arm. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is like it's not chrome or a shiny silver. It's more of a brushed silver, which is what this is. It's labeled as matte black, but what it actually almost looks like is brushed black. And this one is glossy. I don't know how well you can see this on camera. Yeah, you can see that this one on this side has got more of a sheen. It's shinier compared to this one. Now these, I know where to find these. I can find these on Amazon, and they're expensive. These were from China. They're not, obviously they're not as expensive, and the quality of these is pretty good. The quality of this one, I don't know about the other 9 that should be in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, there's 9, and then that makes 10. There's that. Now these should be the same thing, except they have a 6 millimeter hole, and that means that the clasp itself is bigger, but the hole is bigger. First off, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, there's 10 of them there. It looks like. Yeah. Yep, that same matte black is what they're labeled as. Looks kind of like a brushed finish. For any people who bought faucets or did plumbing work, brushed nickel. But it looks like brushed brass or brushed black. Yeah, pretty strong magnet. But yeah. Now, I don't use these very often, but it's the first time I've ever come across these matte black ones or brushed black ones. So I figured, I guess I could have zoomed in for all that, but I figured, I'll show you this again now that I'm zoomed in. Maybe you can see it a little bit better. This one on this side, excuse me. This one on this side is the shinier one, or the glossier one, and this one is the matte. It doesn't have quite a sheen, a shine to it. Right. Now I've got some beads, like black stainless steel beads, and then some of them are whatever metal, and they've got a shine to them, and that's what I'll use this with. Now some, they aren't, and I'll use that with it. It just depends, but I won't. Whatever finish is on the bead, whether it be glossy or flat, matte, brushed, whatever, to match the clasp that I use it with, right? Like I said, I don't use these that much, but I found them and I'm like, oh, well, you sell 10 of them together, I'll order them once and I'll get them and see. That's a 4mm hole. You can get a piece of 550 in there, and you glue it in there, let it dry, and bam, that's what this is. Right? Now this is a 6mm hole. If you do it right, you can get 2 pieces of 550 in there. But yeah, there you go. Now let's put that with that. Put this back in my storage container behind me where I got it from, so it doesn't get lost. Okay, that's it. That's that. I got some more stuff coming now. When it's going to get here, I don't know. These have actually arrived sooner than I thought. Let me look and see if I can tell you. Yeah, I ordered those on September the 4th. So what has that been? 10 days? That was pretty fast. Let's see. Wow. That's pretty fast compared to a lot of the stuff you order from the Chinese companies. Usually takes 2.5, 3, 4 weeks. Sometimes I've known some people it's taken months to get the stuff. But I ordered these. Today's Friday. It was Monday of last week. It was 11 days. That's pretty fast. But I also ordered some other stuff that yeah. 1, 2, 3 more things I've ordered on that same September the 4th. So they may, I don't know when they'll show up. The United States Postal Trade site says I got something. There's something else. And it had today's date on it. And I'm like, yeah, that's not going to get here today. Especially if it wasn't delivered with this stuff. I don't think it's going to get here today. But I will say this. I've noticed this. I keep an eye on this. I got a lot of stuff outgoing and incoming, and I keep an eye on it. And I've noticed this. You know, your regular envelope mail, your bills and whatever you get, postcards you get from people, you know, your regular mail. That gets delivered by the little Jeep, most often, in our neighborhood anyway, the little Jeep style. You know, he's driving on the wrong side of the vehicle. Not on the wrong side of the road, but he's driving on the wrong side of the vehicle. That way he can reach out the window and just stick in the mailbox, right? That's your normal mail carrier you see in most suburban areas, right? He also will deliver packages. But I've learned that sometimes packages, I don't know how they determine whether it goes on that little small carrier truck or goes on another one. I don't know how they determine that. You know, obviously, I don't think he's going to have a whole bunch of big packages on his truck. I get that. But I don't ever order any really big packages. But it doesn't matter. Some stuff he will deliver and he'll put it in the mailbox. I bet you that's the determining factor. Can this package fit in that mailbox? If not, I've had some stuff. Oh, well, I guess not. I've had some stuff like the regular mail carrier. He comes, he delivers the mail. Whether it's packages or envelopes or bills, whatever. He puts it in that mailbox. The same day, later that day, after that stuff has been mailed or delivered. How do I know? Because I go out there and get it and I see it. Okay, that's from today because I emptied the mailbox yesterday and this wasn't there, so this came today. That means the mail carrier has already come by our house that day. Well, later on in the day, I get a notification saying a package has been delivered. And I went out there and it be in the mailbox. And I'm like, why didn't dude who delivered all this mail just deliver it? Don't know. But I know it's been they've come by our house twice in one day. And there's been times when that second truck, he delivers a package which is too big to go in a mailbox. And what do? They pull the Amazon. They get out and they take it up to the front porch and sit it down on the front porch. And it didn't come with the regular everyday mail carrier. So I know for a fact that sometimes packages don't always come with a regular mail truck. Sometimes they do, but they don't have to. They have a separate vehicle that delivers stuff. Now, how that works, I don't know. I don't work for the postal system, so I have no clue how they determine what goes who and how and where. And I don't know. But I do know that there's been days when I've gotten mail and packages through this person, United States Postal Service, and in the same day I get packages, it's only packages, through this other person. Delivery man. Delivery person. The courier. Whatever you want to call them. You see what I'm saying? So, I don't know. But, I may go out there later today and that other package that supposedly was supposed to be here today also, it may be out there. I don't know. Because this package I got, it came with the regular everyday mail, right? That other one may be on that other truck I mentioned. I don't know. But we'll see. But that's all I got. I'm going to try this bracelet I'm talking about. I'm going to try this. I may be able to figure something out. May not. And the thing is, when I put this bead on that bracelet, I don't want it to just be up there all flippy floppy and, whatever. I want it to be secure and tight on there. Right? So, I'm going to have to sit down, watch videos, tinker with this, play with this, figure it out. Maybe this idea that I got with this 95 will work. Maybe it won't. Don't know. Don't have a clue. But if you got any suggestions, you've seen some technique somebody's done. It doesn't have to be for specifically this type thing. But if you see a technique in some tutorial that you think might be helpful to me, put a link in the description below. I'd much appreciate it. Or if you got an idea, share it in the description below. But I guess that's it. Yeah, I've talked for an hour, so we'll leave it at that. And I'll end this one like I end them all. Keep it neat, keep it clean, keep it tight. Happy weaving, folks.